Good morning. It is Thursday, July 13th, 2023. Just arrived back here yesterday. We're going to start decommissioning the boat for storage today. And it occurred to me that I have not done a tour of the boat for anyone back home who might be interested. This is our vacation home now. Replacing our old boat, our former boat. It is an Island Packet 485. Brand is well known in sailing circles, probably. Kind of a largish, heavyish boat with very stable sailing qualities. Important for Michelle, her safety and security are of course paramount and critical to my getting to do a little sailing. So just a quick walk around here. Alternate view from the other side, since the slip next to us is vacant. One more stroll up this side, since my camera work is pretty poor under all circumstances. Okay, so back on board, all the way forward, up at the jib here, the head sail. Again, this is a cutter rig boat, just like our old one. Well, not just like, but similar to. And so you have both a jib and a staysail, Genoa jib in this case, as with the old boat. The big difference on this one is this has a hoist boom rather than the club-footed staysail, and roller furling on the staysail. Consequently, the staysail has got a lot of use on this trip, and will continue to do so, since it's very easy to furl and unfurl. The old one was hanked onto the stay and had to be flaked onto the club-footed, or the club at the foot of the sail. Standard stuff here. A couple anchors up front. This one has the addition of a sprit. We had a new sail made for it this year. Got to use it a little bit this year. Need to get a turtle bag for that now that I know the dimensions of the sail. That's for next year. And windlass, big anchor locker up here. All the chain, variety of odds and ends down there. Needs to be tidied up. And don't know what might be of any interest to anybody. We did redo all the running rigging this year. Spent the bulk of the winter, well, not the bulk of the winter, but did some splicing this winter, putting new lines together. Installed all those this year. The old ones are in pretty rough shape. I have a feeling they're original. And of course we had the standing rigging replaced before the boat was transported here. This boat's quite a bit larger than the old one, quite a bit beamier, and a little bit longer. In-mast furling on the main. First boat we've ever had with that. Seems to have worked out okay so far. I was a little skeptical about it, a little concerned. It's a mechanism like anything else that can fail. But you can have failures furling and unfurling with any system. I just worried about this one jamming. Cockpit, a little untidy. We just made a crossing yesterday from Beaver Island non-stop down to Manitowoc. Only about 140 miles. Walk in the park for a boat like this, but nonetheless a little fatiguing for us. So not much to show really. I mean, it's a boat. One of the nice features of a boat this large, it's a center cockpit. Very secure. It's the cockpit is as large as it looks. It's still kind of smallish. You have to squeeze past the wheel. It's removable when you're not using it, easily removable. Makes it a little easier to get around the pedestal, but it's still kind of tight. Not as tight as the old boat, but still a little tight. And the center cockpit puts you way above the water. A lot of freeboard on this boat to begin with, and then the additional height here, and you're a long way away from the water even when the boat's heeled over under sail. Not a bad thing, but different. Maybe removed from the experience of sailing a little bit. And down here is a somewhat largish lazarette. Poorly organized. But as you can see, our full-size mountain bikes fit in here. You have to remove the front tires. Tisk, tisk. But everything fits, and even better when it's organized. Plenty of storage here for gas cans. I got one for diesel just to change filters and the ray cores, and a little gas can for the outboard. All the hoses and all that stuff go in there very easily as well. And opposite the propane. Something else we didn't have on the old boat was davit for the dinghy. We had to tow everything behind. This has an arch which serves both as the davit and a mount for solar panels, antennas, possibly a Starlink in our future. And then the sugar scoop swim ladder down there, easy boarding. Aesthetically, I'm not a fan, but it certainly is practical. So, what have I forgotten outside? I think that's about it. Except to apologize for the mess once again. I can't seem to get away from the disorganization. Our water tanks were nearly empty. In fact, we ran out of water. I had to add a little bit of lake water to one of the tanks just so we could wash our hands coming down the lake. I can't put my finger on it, but something doesn't look quite right here. Actually just had the mast unstepped yesterday, getting ready to go up the river. But we'll finish up the interior tour of the boat here real quick. I think I showed the cockpit a couple of days ago when I started the tour. I think I showed the cockpit a couple of days ago when I started the tour. Here's another quick look at it. Standard stuff. And going below. Bear in mind we've been living on the boat for a couple of months and we are packing up to go home, so a little lived in and disorganized. Down in the salon now, there's Meechee tidying up in the cabin, or in the galley. Moving forward, where else to start but at the front. This is the forward cabin. As you can see, an island berth, don't have to walk around it. The old boat, this is the only place I had the permission to sleep separately from Michelle, was on the old boat. It was a V berth, and no one could get out of the in or out of the bed without crawling over the others. So she got the V berth, and I slept in the quarter berth. No worries about those kind of accommodations anymore. Plenty of room in the cabin up here, cabinetry and everything. Again, we've got things torn down. The mast is in storage already. Got a forward head, and it's a complete head. Separate shower. It's not a wet head or anything like that. And the commode, sink, so forth. Door here. There's a door to the forward cabin, and of course you can use this as a day head. And just pretend there's a mast right here. There is no longer. Not until next year. This is kind of the, whatever you want to call it. This is convertible into another berth. There's a filler that goes in this space right here. That's in the storage unit right now. I've been using this as my office. I've seen where some people kind of poo-pooed this electric chair and everything on the Island Packet 485. I've been doing my office work in here once every week or 10 days, and it actually works fairly nicely. I like it. I can sit here comfortably. Even with some custom shelving down here, I can sit far enough back that I don't have any problem with it. I can prop my foot up on a duffel bag or something and get some use out of it. Moving further aft, there is a depiction of the figure from mythology for whom the boat is named. If you know us, you know the genesis and nexus for the naming of some of our boats. We'll step up to the main salon here. Very roomy, very, very roomy. Huge table that comes down, folds out, more than we'll ever use. That would have been better used as cabinet space for us, at least, since we have no friends or family. Plenty of light in here, as you can see. Certainly not as nicely finished as the Cabo Rico. It was dripping in teak, but this is very tastefully done, easy to maintain, and again, very open and airy. Very nice, especially in gloomy days. Still doesn't seem at all gloomy down here. So, got your television there. DVD player is tucked away back in there. We got a Roku set up for streaming. Got a couple of tables here, both removable. And a very large nav station. Getting new electronics this winter, so the stuff that's in here is ancient and unfortunately did not work well when it all went back together after we transported the boat. So we've been operating on some rudimentary navigation stuff this year, which is not a big deal. Really like having a traditional chart table. The only thing I wish they'd done here was to put a fiddle across the bottom so that your charts don't slide off. It does prop up level though, however. Electrical panels, various systems controls, generator, etc., so on and so forth there. Again, one of the nice features about this boat is the galley. The old one we never felt like we could really do any food preparation in. This one has plenty of counter space. This one had some custom cabinetry installed that kind of filled all this in, gives you a little extra storage. It's nice. Otherwise, this all would have been open under the companionway, and you're just walking down, sprinkling dirt on everything you have on the countertop there. So, kind of a nice feature on this boat, this particular boat, not characteristic of all Island Packet 485s, and neither is that. It is very handy. It does all the laundry, does all the dishwashing, and other cleaning and housework. It's a wonderful device, but it is rather expensive. So you got a freezer here, that works. Cooler drawer down here. And then a refrigerator here that we've been schlepping ice for all summer. Thanks, Gary. We ordered replacement of that last fall, and this spring they said, no, we're just going to get a guy out to fix it. The guy who came out to fix it confirmed what we already knew, that it's kaput. It needs to be replaced, which is why we ordered it in the first place, and it didn't get done. So anyway, moving aft. This is the aft stateroom, VIP, so I don't know, whatever you want to call it, owner's stateroom. Little dirty here. Our laundry is stacking up. Michelle's sorting through what stays on the boat, what goes home. It's all going to get washed before we leave, one way or the other. But as you can see, a very roomy bedroom. Again, a kind of a walk-around island berth. We can get in easily without disturbing one another to the extent that's possible on a boat or even at home. I won't bother going all the way back into the head, but slightly larger than the last one. And of course, for our next boat, Michelle's criterion was 2 heads. We had to have 2 heads, and of course this boat fills the bill, satisfies that requirement. Rear engine access down here. It's located in the center of the boat. That's probably not very well lit. There's a light switch there, still probably not very well lit. I'll try to remember to show that moving back forward again. And another perspective of the large lazarette in the back here. Again, not very well organized. Had everything pulled apart yesterday when we were getting the mast off. Find the light here. There we go. Okay, not sure how well that shows up, but once again, a little disorganized in here. It'll be, ironically, organized when we leave. But the bicycles fit. Moving back forward, the aforementioned engine compartment under the galley here, which for a sailboat could be a lot worse as far as access is concerned. Engine, of course, generator, and all this comes up forward here too under the companionway. That's removable so that you can get to the generator to service that. All your charging equipment there and everything. So that just about concludes the brief tour of our new vacation home, new to us vacation home. But for the mechanical issues we've had on this trip, I think we can say we're quite satisfied with the boat.
Yeah, I like the boat. Love the boat.
Love the boat. I got a floor mat in the way of the window. That's why that's so dark. Port light.